I'm Justin Davis, and this is Drone Camps RC. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have another honest review today for you. We're going to review the Eachine E52-TX. It's a little pocket drone. Some would call it a selfie drone. I'm not sure if I'd call it that, but it has foldable arms that come out like this. It also has built-in LEDs, and it has a 1S 500 milliamp battery, and it has an onboard camera. And that's not the greatest video in the world because this is a toy drone. Let's not sugarcoat this in any way. This is 100% toy drone. It's not going to be hobby grade. It does have a kind of a nice soft finish on the very top of it, and it has a nice rubber little grip over top of this front LED, and you can kind of push in on it. I don't know why that's soft like that, but kind of a cool feature, an on-off button on the very top, and it does not have micro SD card support, so the videos are actually going to get saved to your phone. So when you inside the app and you stop recording, either here on the transmitter or here on the phone, it's going to save them. It's going to ask you if you can access your photos and videos, and you'll say yes. But what's neat about this is it does come with this battery, and it comes in this sort of case like this. And this is one of the mods that I wanted to show you with this battery case. You can take a small screwdriver and you can take out these 4 little screws right here and reveal the battery. So if I just pull this out, it's just a regular JST connector here that plugs into the bottom of the quad. Now, a lot of guys have expressed that they don't like when companies make these proprietary style batteries inside these kind of cases, and a lot of people try to take them out, and you want to be able to buy different batteries for your quad. You don't want to just be stuck to one type of battery. So good thing about this one is you could actually mod the bottom of this by putting a little Velcro here, and you can just Velcro in your 500 milliamp battery. So that way you can find batteries anywhere on the internet for this particular quad, and that's going to be one of the most important things for this quad. If you're going to get it, you want to lighten it up a little bit. You're actually not going to have to carry this. It'll just carry the battery itself. So I can pop this out of this tray right here, put a little Velcro on the back side of this, and just put it right in here. Now, one thing you're going to have to be concerned with when you plug in your battery, you have to make sure that the polarity is correct. So you see this red wire, that's going to be your positive, and the black wire is going to be your negative. When you plug in this JST, you have to look inside here very closely at this board right here. Now you see these 2 little pins right here? These 2 little pins, they are positive and negative. The one on the left right here is going to be positive, and the one on the right here is going to be negative. So like I said, red is positive and black is negative. So as long as you plug it in just like that into that port, you won't have any problems. If you reverse the polarity, you could risk damaging your quad. So be careful with that. But otherwise, it's going to be awesome out in the field. I've flown very similar selfie style, in quotation, selfie style quads like this one before. And speaking of the JJRC Alfie, that was a really popular quad. But I kind of like the finish on this one a little better. This is that back LED. I'll go ahead and pop this top of this case back on real quick, and I'll turn it on for you and show you how it arms. Very important that you understand how it arms, because the manual that comes with it is actually kind of crappy. So we'll just go ahead and plug that in there, and turn on the quad first by pressing and holding down on this power button for a couple seconds, and you should see them start to flash like that. And you can turn on your transmitter, and as soon as you turn this on, it's going to throw out a Wi-Fi signal. So you can go ahead and go into your phone here, and to arm the motors, like I said, stick up, stick down. If you are successful in binding the transmitter, it'll actually come to a solid LED. So now the quad is bound to the transmitter, and you can fly this off the transmitter. I think that the transmitter is really important for these kind of quads. I'm used to the sticks. I have heard of children and kids and young adults being able to fly a little better off the app on the phone, but I'm used to the sticks, and if you're going to buy this quad, that's what I would recommend you get. Get the one with the transmitter. It's worth the extra $5 or $10. So go ahead and go into your Wi-Fi settings, and you don't have to have any password on this. You just go in here, select Wi-Fi UFO, and it should automatically connect to the camera. And we're going to scroll over to the app. The app in the App Store for iOS is called YH-FPV. So we'll go ahead and open up that and we'll press play. And now I have a live view coming from the camera. So there's a bit of lag here, as you can see on the screen. So it's not going to be totally like real time. Wi-Fi video, this is why I don't really care for Wi-Fi video because I'm an FPV racer. But 5.8 is going to be a lot faster. But this will do for a toy, and that's essentially what this one is. So you can also, inside this app, you can start and stop the video, take photos. You can change the speed of the quad from 30, 60 to 100%. And you can also play around with the phone control settings, like the gravity sensor inside the quads. And you can turn on the on-screen controls. If you wanted to fly it with mode 2, with the throttle over here, and roll and pitch on this side, you can also do that. You can do your auto takeoffs from here. And you can also do your 3D flips. Now it's only going to flip left and right. It won't flip forward and back. But you can also stop the motors in here as well. An emergency stop is right there. So if you need to disarm it, if it's flying away from you, just hit that button right there. We'll go ahead and turn that off. Now you also get a 1S battery charger, and it has that special JST connector up here. So just plug this into your computer or maybe your iPhone charger, your AC outlet charger for your USB, and that would take about an hour to 2 hours to charge up that battery. It's a pretty small battery. Now I also have over here, just as an example of a Hobby King Nanotech. This is a 350 milliamp battery. This is probably only going to get you somewhere in the range of maybe 4 to 5 minutes flight time off this. The stock battery that comes with it, you're going to get 6 to 7 minutes flight time with that one. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off because we're going to go out and do some flying in the field. But if you want to do that mod, you absolutely can. Just make sure the battery that you buy is going to be sort of a narrow style battery like this one, so it fits down in this bay. And if you get something large like this, like I said, if you want to put a piece of Velcro on this and just come up and over, this looks kind of ugly, but it'll fly. So let's go ahead and go out to the field and do a little flight test of this little folding pocket drone by Eachine. Now I hate to tell you guys about a mod and not show it to you, so I'll go ahead and show it to you real quick. So I put a piece of soft Velcro on this side, a little piece on this side, and this is the simplest way to do this. Now take a longer strip of the hard style Velcro, and you're going to put that inside in the battery bay, just here. Press that down. Okay, and after you have a soft piece here and a soft piece here, go ahead and take another longer piece that's going to be the harder style Velcro, and that's going to come up and over top to hold it in place. If you have a larger style battery that kind of sticks out the battery bay on the bottom, you can do that for a little extra security. In the case of this Nanotech, it would actually be sitting kind of like this. But it's going to be pretty secure once you come over the top of it, just like that. These are really light batteries. Now, it looks a little bit ghetto, I know, but it'll actually work. And these Nanotechs are actually quite punchy. They're going to give you a little better sort of motor power and response and throttle out of this E52TX. Now, the other battery here that came with it, you just pull this off like that, pop this right out of that tray, and we're going to put a fuzzy piece of Velcro on the back side of this one. And I usually do it on the opposite side of what the battery is actually labeled as, so I can still see that label later. And when I'm ready to go ahead and fly, I'm just going to lay it down in the tray like that. First, I will probably look to see which side it plugs in. So it plugs in up here. Like I said, you got to make sure you get your polarity correct when you plug this in. The positive is going to be on the left, and the negatives on the right. So I plug it in just like this. Okay. And then I'm going to set this down in the battery bay. Put this piece over top, just like that. Okay, now I can flip it over. I can hit the power button and turn it on. And now I can use any JST 1S 500 milliamp battery with this little Eachine quadcopter. Pretty cool. Alright guys, let's go ahead and take off and do our flight test. Now I went to several different locations to fly this one, and like I said, this is a toy. This is not an FPV racer. It's not something to train really, just really something to play around with. You might be able to fly this indoors if you had a larger house, but I'm out here in this field behind this school, just flying around and trying to fly my first battery right here, and it seems to hover well. It was a little bit hot that day. It was actually about 81 degrees out, and my controller didn't seem to be working right, so I went to the phone to try to fly it with the phone. And I get out here just about this far out, and I start losing communication with the quad from the phone, and I'm not even half a football field away, really, and it starts to kind of go over to the left that direction, come back to the right, and here I was just trying to figure out what I was doing, coming back over to the right. I got a little bit of control, swinging wide out, and I lost complete control right about here. So it's going to go into failsafe when it does that. So if you lose communication, no big deal. It will just go auto land wherever it is. So big open field is pretty important. So I'll go ahead and take off for a second time. And I'm at that same location. It's 81 degrees. My iPhone was feeling like it was starting to overheat. It's really hot in my iPhone case. So next time I'll probably take it out. But I did do another location with a little more shading after this flight. But it flies great off of the iPhone. Like I said, younger people can probably fly it off of the phone a little better than the transmitter. But I prefer the transmitter. For my recommendation, if you're going to buy this, I'd use the transmitter. So there it goes again. It just dropped out of the air again. So after 2 or 3 batteries, a little bit of frustration, I decided to give this another shot at different fields. So I went home, recharged some batteries, and I went to this spot. This is a little nicer, a little more wind shadow here, and so I had a little better time here with it. Not quite as hot. Did that auto takeoff. The auto takeoff is cool. It works pretty good. I tried the 360 flips, and those also seem to do okay. It does go up and then flip. So here I'm just kind of cruising around, and I'm trying to keep it a little bit closer to myself right here because I'm like, hey, if I get out there more than a quarter of a football field away, it's just going to fall out of the air again. So it does fly like a toy. It does not fly as near as good as something like a SEMA or a Hubsan or something with a locked-in GPS, obviously. But this one's a cheap quad, so if you buy something that's this cheap, expect it to be flying that way too. It's not really going to fly like something super expensive. So here I'm going to try to make a big wide turn and come back. Now the wind is at my back right now. It's kind of coming toward the quad. So I'm in mode 3 actually to try to keep this quad fighting into the wind. It seems to be doing okay, a little better at this field. Just going to try to do that auto land right in my hand. Chase it a little bit. Come over here. Okay, there we go. Nice, slow. If I can push that down button, there we go. Like I said, the construction of it on the outside seems to be nice. Flying characteristics, not so great. There it goes, flying off. It felt really mechanical. It felt like when I was using the transmitter here, even though I would push full right, it would kind of hesitate for a second and then sort of go full right on its own, and continuing that direction even when I let off the stick. So that was kind of a disappointment. And when I'm in forward flight right here, it seems to be locked into forward flight at times. So I didn't have the best response for communication between the drone and the radio. I'm going to do another hand launch there, and the hand launch, they seem to work out pretty well. And the video on this, guys, forget the video. The video is really terrible. It's really bad. If you put this to your computer, it's in about 12 frames per second, so it's not really going to be easy to load it up and get it to match up with your audio if you're trying to do a review for this quad. This is it'll be an absolute failure if you try to do that. And here's an example of some of the video. It's okay. It's not super great. But then again, I'm being hard on it, but it's a really cheap quad. So if I was going to give it a star rating, I'd say like maybe like 3 stars. Something to definitely play around with. I wouldn't spend too much extra money on batteries. I think the quality of it, the construction of it is a little better looking than the Selfie, but in the long term here, from what I've seen from the Elfie and this one, the Elfie might fly actually a little better, even though this one looks a little better. So yeah, you make the choice. You decide what's right for you. But this is how I feel about this one. It's okay, not super great. I'm Justin Davis, guys. I'll see you on the next one. This one's going in my pocket. Time to go home.